Hello, this is Mr. Trotta with Monday's lesson. The objective for today is to review everything that we were working on Thursday, which is finding the factors of numbers. People seem to have a little bit of trouble with that, so today's video is going to be a little bit shorter. We're only going to focus on the one topic which we already covered before, and you're not going to see my face, you're just going to see this calculator because you're going to be using a calculator today. So let's go over how to find the factors of a number. I may have gone over it a little too quickly, so I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. So let's start off with, we are asked to find the factors of the number 8. So when I say the factors of 8, I want to find out all the numbers that when I multiply by, I can get that number 8. So for example, the first number I'm going to work with is always going to be the number 1. And with 1, I can say 1 times 8 is equal to 8. I then want to go over to my next number in sequence, which is going to be 2, and I want to see if 2 is a factor of 8. So for that, I'm going to need a calculator, and I've got the calculator right over here, and I'm going to start by putting in the number I'm trying to find a factor of, which is going to be 8, and I want to see if it's divisible by the very next number, which is going to be this 2. So I'm going to hit divided by 2, and I put in equals, and I get an answer of 4. So 2 times 4 will give me an 8. So I'll write that over right next to this. 2 times 4 is equal to 8. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to count these numbers all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to go all the way down until I get that very magical number that we're working with. So if I'm working with a 10, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I'm working with a 12, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have to try all the numbers. But the good news is, once I find a match, 2 times 4, now my number is only going to go up to 4. I don't have to go any higher than that because I'm trying to stay between those two numbers I have. So the next number I'm going to try is going to be a 3. And when I want to see if 3 is a factor of 8. So I go back to my calculator, and I'm going to put in 8 divided by 3, and I get a decimal. Decimals are bad, which means that 3 is not a factor of 8. Now, I said before, I don't have to go up to that 4 because I already have a 4 here. So my numbers I have are going to be and I'll highlight these here. I have a 1, I have a 2, I have a 4, and I have an 8. So when I go to put these answers in, I see I have 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 4 is 8. There's no other combination here that will give me an 8. So when I put my answers in, they have to be in numerical order, from smallest to largest. So when I go to type that in, the way it should look when you're entering this into Schoology is going to be, I'm going to have my 1 comes first. The next number is, largest number is a 2, so I have to put comma 2. The next number after that is my 4, comma 4. And my last number is an 8, comma 8. So my answer for finding the factors of 8 are going to be 1, 2, 4, and 8, and I have to put them just like this, 1, comma 2, comma 4, comma 8. And we're done. Let's try another example. Now I'm going to find the factors of 15. So when I have that 15 off the bat, I'm going to know I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, unless I have some numbers that break it up. So let's start off with that very first one. Every single factor is always going to be the factor of 1. Oh, I'm still on the highlighter. Let's undo that. Factors are always going to be 1 and the number. So 1 times 15 is 15. The next number I'm going to try here is going to be my 2. So I have to go back over to the calculator, and I'm going to put in my 15 because that's the factor I'm trying to find of, the number I'm trying to find factors for. And 15 divided by 2, I get 7.5. That's a decimal, so that means that is definitely not going to work. So I'll put in here, no. The next number in order is going to be a 3. So I have to go back to my calculator, start with my 15. I'm going to divide that by 3, and I get an answer of 5. 5 is not a decimal, so this is good. I can go now and put on my list here, 3 times 5 is 15. And because I have a 5 as that next number, that means I only need to count, I don't have to go any higher than this 5 right over here. But the next number in the sequence I have to try is going to be 4. So I'm going to go back to my calculator and start with my 15. I'm going to divide that by 4, and I get a decimal. So that means I know that this does not work. You can put a no in here. And now I don't need to put the 5 in because I already have a 5 over here. I know that if I did put a 5 in, I'd have 5 times 3 is 15, and I already have these two numbers. I already found those factors. So right now my factors are a 1 and 15, a 3 and a 5. That gives me 15, and those are all my factors. So when I go to start putting my answer in over into Schoology, I'm going to start with the smallest number, which is a 1, put a comma afterwards. The next largest number is a 3, comma. The next largest is a 5, comma, and the last one is a 15. So 1, 3, 5, and 15 is my answer for finding the factors of 15. Okay, I have a couple more examples here. No jokes today. Just want to make sure everyone's understanding this. So I'm going to start the same way I do for finding the factors of 16 here, is I'm going to start off by writing out 1 and my number I'm finding. So that is going to be a 1, and it's still stuck in that highlighter. So I have 1 is the first number I'm going to pick. 1 times 16 is equal to 16. So right now, because I have a 16 here, I have to count all the way down to 16 unless I have something else smaller than that. So let's go with my next number, 2. I want to see if 2 is a factor of 16. So I'll go over to my calculator. I'll put in 16, and I'm going to divide that by 2 and see if that works. 2 times 8, that works. So I'm going to write down 2 times 8 is 16. And now I know my list doesn't have to go all the way down to 16. It's only going to have to go as far as 8. That is, again, unless I have other factors. So let's put in a 3. That's going to be next. I want to see if 3 goes into 16. So I'll start with 16, divide that by 3, and again, the answer is a decimal, so that is definitely going to be a no. That is not a factor. Next number on my list is a 4. Let's try that out. So I'm going to start off with my factor of 16. I'm going to divide that by 4, and I get an answer of 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. So now when I go to write out my factors, I have to write out, I have the 1 in 16, I have the 2 times 8, and I have 4 times 4. Now when I'm writing this one out, because I have one 4 here, I don't need to put a second 4 in there. I only need to write each of the numbers that are factors. So if I have 4 once, that's good enough. So when I go to type my answer into Schoology, I have to make sure they're in order from smallest to largest. So I'll start with my 1. The next largest number is a 2, so I have comma 2. The next largest number is a 4, comma 4. And then I can start going back up on my list here, comma 8, and comma 16. So the factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. All right, we have 2 more to go. Finding the factors of 27. All right, so for this one, I'll start out by writing out my number here. 1 is what I always start off with, and 1 times 27 is equal to 27. Next one number I'm going to try is going to be a 2. So if I go to my calculator, I start with the number I'm finding the factor of, 27, and I divide that by 2, and I get a decimal. So that means 2 is not going to work. So I'll write no right over there. The next number I want to try is going to be a 3. So let's try that one. I'll put in 27. I divide that by 3, and I get a 9. That makes me happy for very many reasons. If I have 3 times 9, I have 27. I'm also happy because now instead of having to count all the way up to 27, I only have to count to 9 at the highest, unless I find another factor. So let's continue on. The next I'm going to try is a 4. So I'll go over to my calculator, put in 27, divide that by 4. I got a decimal, so that does not work. So that's a no. Next number I can try is a 5. So I'm going to go over here, type in 27, divide by 5. More decimals, that's another no. Let's try 6 and see if that works. So I'll put in 27 divided by 6 into the calculator. Another decimal, there's another no. This is okay, you're going to come across a lot of no's in some of these examples. Let's try a 7. Is 27 divisible by 7? So 27 divided by 7. Whoa, major decimal there. That's going to be another no. Next number I need to try is going to be an 8. And that's the last number I can try because I already have a 9 right over here. So let's put in 27, see if that is divisible by 8. And another decimal, so that's another no. So right now, the only numbers that worked in this case were going to be my 1 and 27 and my 3 and my 9. No other numbers. So when I go to put my answer in, over into Schoology, I have to make sure I'm putting them in order from smallest to largest. So that first number is going to be a 1. Then I put my comma in. 3 is the next largest number, comma. The next largest number is 9, comma, and then 27. And that's the way your answer should look like when you're putting it into Schoology. Okay, one last example for you. I'd like you to try this one on your own. So the video will automatically pause and you'll tell me what the factors are of 30. So why don't you try that now. All right, now I'm going to go over that answer. So when I'm finding the factors of 30, I'm going to start off with my very first number of 1. And I know that 1 times 30 is going to be 30. I next want to figure out if 2 is going to be a factor of 30. So I can use my calculator and do 30 divided by 2. I get an answer of 15. So I can know that 2 times 15 is equal to 30. And this makes me happy because now my list only needs to go to 15 and not 30, unless, of course, I find some other factors. So let's try and see if 3 is a factor of 30. In my calculator, start off with 30, divide that by the number 3 and 10. So I know that 3 times 10 is going to give me an answer of 30. So now my list got even shorter. Now I only need to go to 10, not 15. So let's try 4, see if that works. So I'll go to my calculator. 30 divided by 4 is equal to decimal. Doesn't work. So I'm going to put a no right over here. I then want to try a 5. Is 30 divisible by 5? 30 divided by 5, 6. So I know that 5 times 6 is equal to 30. So for this one, I don't need to go any higher than this now because I already found out that if I put a 6 here, 6 would give me a 5 again. So all my factors here are going to be a 1 times 30, 2, 15, 3, and 10, and 5, and 6. So when I go to put my answer down, I have to make sure I'm typing that over in order from smallest to largest. So that's going to be a 1, comma, 2, comma, 3, comma, 5, comma, 6, comma, 10, comma, 15, comma, 30. Longest one we've had so far. So you'll have some problems to do just like this. When it comes to finding the secret word today, that word is going to be watch. That's it for today. We're going to do some more factors tomorrow. So if you're not understanding this today, make sure you're contacting me, coming to Zoom office hours, because we're going to be finding factors of 2 numbers tomorrow. All right, you guys take care.